This video is a request by somebody in the comments last week about creating ads, where to get ad ideas, what the creation process actually looks like, and then how to decide what a winner and a loser is. And so in this video, we're gonna break down that process step by step, starting with where to get ideas, what that creation process actually looks like, and then the testing process. So in terms of where to get ideas, before I break down this concept, there's gonna be a more in-depth video on the channel about marketing angles that I recommend you go look out that breaks down legitimately my step-by-step process for figuring out what to write copy about, what those marketing angles look like, and again, where to get started. So I will link that somewhere here, or you can just go to the channel and check it out. Simply put, it's very, very straightforward. When thinking of ad ideas, every single person, although they may want the same outcome at the end of the day, will have different reasons for taking the action. And so the example I use in that marketing angles video is, let's take a dad who wants to make more money. Now, at the end of the day, yes, he wants to make more money, but we've got to think about why he wants to make more money. And this is where your marketing angles come in. This is where your ad angles come in. Number one, he may want time with family. Number two, he may want status with friends. Number three, maybe he wants safety for family. Or number four, maybe he just wants time with wife. Very, very simple. And what this goes to show is each of these can then be turned into an ad angle. Ad one, ad two, ad three, ad four. That is essentially what coming up with ad angles ends up looking like. Now, if we break this down even further, what you're then going to do is complete market research to figure out what these different ad angles can be. And the way that we typically do this is a couple of ways. Again, I recommend you check out that marketing angles video, but very simply put, all you're going to do is go look at AI, go look at forums, and then number three, look at your sales calls, if you have sales calls already. These will tell you everything you need to know about reasons they buy, things that keep them from buying, and then number three, how they speak and who's on the other end. How they, when I say they, I mean their ICP, ideal consumer profile. And so these are going to be your big sources for all of this. I recommend taking your sales calls and feeding it to AI, taking different forum sites, feeding it to AI, watch it. I always encourage you to watch at least a dozen sales calls before starting anything, because again, it allows you to say, okay, I'm seeing a lot of dads on the call. They're on the call because they want to make money. These are the different angles that end up coming up as I go through this. And so in terms of where to get ideas, that is basically it. Again, I would check out that marketing angles video where I break this down even more in depth. But that's the first part. Now, once I actually have the angles, where I think a lot of people go wrong is they jump straight to creating really, really overcomplicated or highly produced ads, meaning they go hire a professional videographer, they overscript the living shit out of their ads, they spend too much time over analyzing what their ad needs to be about. And the problem with this is it lengthens your feedback loop to a point where you could be 2 months in before you ever even know what ad works, because you spent 30 days just trying to come up with the perfect ad, or you've sunk 10 grand in a production cost to make the perfect ad. As an agency, what we believe is to keep it super, super simple from day one. And so there are two types of creatives that I will have all of my clients do. Number one, selfie videos, and number two, image ads. The reason I do this is because selfie videos require almost zero time from the client, like an hour or two to film, but there's no they don't need to set up a bunch of production. 9 times out of 10, they don't even need a teleprompter. They can just pick up the phone and start recording. But again, super low friction on the client side. Also on the agency side, you can edit it in CapCut on your phone. It's not overly produced. There's not a ton of graphics and animations. The captions will literally just run TikTok captions on all the ads. And we're keeping it super, super simple. And then the other thing we'll do is these image ads, because what they allow us to do is, again, produce them at scale, and they require no time from the client. The reason that we keep it super, super low friction is because we are looking to find one simple thing, and that is what messaging actually works. Because if I dump 10 grand into producing really, really nice ads, all that ends up happening is half of those ads don't even perform, or they speak to the wrong person. Yes, they make it cheaper cost per result because they catch the eye more, they have more creative hooks, whatever, but I'm not even getting the right person to begin with. And so by starting with selfie videos and image ads, what I'm able to do is say, okay, am I bringing in my ICP? Am I bringing in the type of person I want to bring in? What ads are working? What ads are not? And I'll get into that in a second when we get to the testing part of the video. I can, again, see what messages are working. And so what then happens is I can say, okay, message one worked, message two worked, message three did not work, message four did not work, message five worked. And again, super low friction. So now I can say, cool, because message 1, 2, and 5 worked, I can now turn these into ads that cost 10K to produce. And I can go higher up in the production value, which then 9 times out of 10 brings down costs. Not every time, but 9 times out of 10. And so that is the approach that we will always use with clients, is selfie videos, image ads. Occasionally we've used like AI avatars from platforms like HeyGen or ArcAds. I'm not a huge fan. I think they bring in shit quality leads and there's not congruency in the funnel, which is a whole nother video on my channel you can check out in terms of messaging and all that. But again, keep it super simple. We want to make sure that we're producing a ton of volume in the beginning at very low effort to then figure out what messaging works and then take it to that next step. Once I've gone and I've produced a bunch of selfie video and image ads, this brings me to arguably the most important concept from this video, which is the testing process. All you're doing is using things like UTMs to track. All the UTM is if you look in the URL of the ad or the website or whatever, it'll be this little thing at the end that'll say like UTM source equals name of ad, equals campaign name, equals ad set type. And I'm using these UTMs to figure out what ads bring in what prospects. And then from there, all I'm doing is looking at the prospect data and saying, okay, ad 1 brings me good prospects. Ad 2 brings me bad prospects. Let's kill ad 2. That's it. That is literally it. And all I'm going to do is just rinse and repeat. And so I will scale ad 1, kill ad 2. Maybe I scale ad 3, kill ad 4, you name it. But that is literally all I'm doing is looking at UTMs, looking at the ads, and scaling based on what's bringing me in what I need. Initially, I'm not overly focused on CPMs, cost per lead, all of these things. Some media buyers will tell you to do that. Some won't. For me, I just care about getting the right person first. Once I have that, then I know what I need to say, and I can begin to lower my costs to then increase my profit and ROAS on the account. But the first thing I need to get right is bringing in the right type of person. And that is really it. Like, do not overcomplicate the ad creation and the testing process. The only thing I'm looking to figure out when I first launch a campaign is what ads work. The second thing I'll say is if I'm running, in this case, let's say Facebook ads, and I have a bunch of different ads inside of the account under an ad set, there's a campaign structure video on the channel you can check out as well. But let's say I have 4 ads in an ad set and 1 spends all the money, 2 spends a little, and the other 2 get no spend. That doesn't necessarily mean that these are bad ads. Keep them in the vault to then launch and test with later. Because again, if ad 2 is bringing me bad leads, then maybe ad 3 takes up the spend. And now all of a sudden ad 3 gets me really good prospects as well, but maybe they cost a little bit more. And so that's the big thing with testing is keep it really simple. Like, I don't want you guys to overthink this process. And I cannot tell you how many consulting calls I've had with people who are running ads where they're either A, freaking out about costs when a campaign first gets started, or B, they are overly concerned with the nitty gritty of how it all works. I was actually on a call in a program that I'm a part of the other week, and we were joking about how I am like the biggest Chad when it comes to advertising you'll probably ever see, especially on day one. Because what is the point in testing the audiences and all of this random fancy campaign structure bullshit if I don't even know if my ads are going to bring in the right people? My only priority is bringing in the right people. And so what I will do, and this is the last part to this, is when I go to test, I will make sure that I have variety in the ads that I'm launching. I'm not going to launch 10 ads and 5 of them be about safety for the family. Going back to the dad analogy, I'm going to launch 1 about safety, 1 about time with kids, 1 about time with wife, 1 about status, 1 about the car, 1 about, maybe earn money to get your hairline back. I don't know. But having variety when you first start, yeah, it may cause your campaigns to launch at like a lower ROAS, but you'll be able to very clearly see, okay, this is a messaging vein that works. This is a messaging vein that doesn't. And then from there, I can begin to scale campaigns. So the 2 videos I'd recommend you check out is going to be the marketing angles video as well as the ad campaign structure. That'll break down some of the concepts I briefly touched on in here in a lot more depth. So feel free to check those out. If you're looking for somebody to run your ads, there's gonna be a link below. You can click, you can book call myself or a member of the team to kind of dive in, see what makes sense, see where you guys are at, see if it's a good fit. Other than that, guys, super, super simple. This is one of the most basic concepts to understand. And once you understand it, you kind of can't unsee it. Like I said, getting ideas, AI, forums, sales calls, the creation process, all you're doing is once you have those angles from those resources, then selfie videos and images. Keep it super, super simple. Once I've done that, when it comes to actually testing, all I'm gonna be doing is looking for the messaging that brings in the people I wanna bring or brings in the conversions that I want, scale those, kill the ones that don't, repeat. Once I begin to see themes in terms of what messaging performs versus what doesn't, then I will begin dumping money into more highly produced ads to ideally lower my costs. But that's it, keeping it super, super simple. If you guys like content like this, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. This video is a recommendation from somebody in the comment section, so go ahead and comment what you want to see next. I'll make sure to make a video of that coming up here soon, and I will see you in the next one.